Small electric cars were said to be the future, but SUVs now rule the road, and it seems like they just keep getting bigger and bigger. Is this a green movement or a fun movement? What the heck is going on? I don't know. So, of course, I'm going to bring on Herbert to make me a little bit brighter. We're going to talk about that. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So, Herbert, I saw this very exciting article. That is not that. That's just how you support me. That's cool too. Small electric cars were said to be the future, but SUVs rule the road. Across the globe, more and more sport utility vehicles are being spotted. This is despite predictions from the UN of an inevitable pivot towards smaller and more environmentally friendly vehicles because of the urgency of the climate crisis and the rising cost of living. Do you believe that most buyers around the world purchase a vehicle based on the urgency of the climate crisis?
What's the worst? Most? No. Some, a small amount, yes. No, some, not even. No. Very few are choosing it because of that reason. And even Elon pivoted out of that, right? Initially, you might have an initial small group of early adopters, and he positioned Tesla cars as environmentally friendly. And that was the group that said yes, because, it was a bet, right? Like, why this? Then he pretty quickly said, no, this is not just an environmentally friendly car. It's just the best car in the world, period. It happens to be environmentally friendly. That was the pivot that he made because he realized, not that he realized, but it's just a small group of people that really, truly care, and they bet their dollars based on that.
I would agree with you. When I bought the Model Y, the reason I bought it was number one was safety. And then exactly. I think cost of operation, that might have been second or third, with the other second or third tie being, it's just the best car.
Yeah. Somebody says to me all the time, right? Aren't you worried about range anxiety?
No.
And I'm like,
never.
Yes, but aren't you worried about gas price anxiety? Aren't you worried about service cost anxiety? Because to me, service cost anxiety outweighed any kind of concern that I had of anything else. The service cost is something that, not service cost, like, you know what I mean? Like every car I've ever owned, and I've owned many cars, Toyotas and BMWs and Volvos, and you name them, I've had them. And boy, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Oh, this time it's your carburetor. This time it's your transmission. I actually had an issue with the oil. I had my Toyota minivan. The oil was spouting like a volcano right in the engine. Wow. And it was just like, you bring it to the auto mechanic. And I tried my best to be like, I'm going to shop it around to 2 or 3, but you take it to one, they take it apart, and they tell you, here's your bill. And you go, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
May I have another?
Yes, sir. Whatever you say. I don't know. 5,000? Okay. Oh, it's only 2,000? Okay. But that you're supposed to take it around. And I have a few times, but at the end of the day, they will tell you what it is. You pay it. And we're talking thousands of dollars. That anxiety, I don't need to worry about with an electric vehicle. They don't have all those parts. And that just makes me feel so much better owning this car. That's my big one, service cost anxiety.
When I owned a Chevy, I was on a first name basis with my mechanic. And I didn't even hate that car. I just figured it was a fact of life. For me, next on the list at 4th, I guess would be speed and fun. And at 5th, I suppose, would be environmental. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that I think the article is starting with a faulty conclusion. The pivot has not materialized. 24% of the cars sold in the US were 54% of the cars sold in the US were SUVs. Not surprising. Both new and older models, 95% are burning fossil fuel. Yeah, we need to work on that. SUVs are not hard to miss. Correct. Fact check. True. Experts say yes.
So obviously, in the US specifically, you travel through highways. There's a lot longer drive to get from one location to another location, typically, than these, dense, compact cities that we see in other countries. And so US folks do worry about range anxiety. Range anxiety is the number one, actually number 2, it's right after price. And so electric vehicles, when they first started off, you needed the bigger batteries to go have longer range, and you're just not going to get that with a smaller car. And that's why they started off with the larger vehicles. That's just the way it works.
It does make sense. I will say, I spent 2 or 3 summers as a doing travel writing, contract travel writing in Montana. And Montana is pretty sparse. And there were times when I had range anxiety in my gas powered minivan
Yeah.
because you can get to places where there's not a lot of gas stations, and my car doesn't route to a gas station when it detects that I don't have enough
I
gas to
know.
reach my destination.
Yeah.
And it makes it so painless. I've had times where I was going out to a friend's house where I was going to charge at their house. And when I got partway there, the car said, "Hey, you don't have enough juice to make the return trip." I was like, "Oh, thank you."
Mhm.
It's very sweet. I'm going to power forward because I'm good. But that, if I wasn't going to my friend's house to charge, that would have been
Mhm.
a good time to turn around and not get stranded. So let's talk about some of the bulkier SUVs on the market, because there are a few. We've got the BMW iX, very, very bulky. Let's see. This is just a list of a bunch of different ones. We've got, let's share this, 54 to 5,800 pounds for the BMW iX. That's a pretty bulky boy. The Escaladic at 9,134 pounds. What on earth are you doing?
The hell is that? Yeah. 4.5
The Hummer,
tons.
somehow less weight than the Escaladic. That's outrageous. Apparently it is quite a beast, but I don't understand. Even the Blazer, 5337, pretty heavy. Is that the bottom line? Is it that that people just don't care as much about the weight?
I don't know the answer to that. Do they care about the weight? I don't think they even care. I don't know if they care.
I think they only care how it drives.
Yeah.
And if you put appropriate suspension on a heavy vehicle, it can feel a lot lighter and more nimble than it is. If you've ever had a chance to drive a Ford Lightning, you do not feel the weight. If you've ever had a chance to drive a Cybertruck, it feels like a mid-size car in terms of how nimble and even how well it turns. For such a large vehicle, it turns ridiculously well. I did want to drive over an island in a parking lot, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I was like, well, what if the security guard sees me or something? I don't know. But it looked like a fun shortcut to take. How important, is the environmental angle, do you think? Do you think that we should be giving it more focus? Because China has a lot more. China saw the largest sale, 11.6 million SUVs in 2024, followed by the US, India, and Germany. So even India, which has crowded roads, China, which has crowded roads, are two of the three largest SUV markets.
So I don't know how to answer that. I mean, we're talking about 2025. At this point, the stats are showing that it's a done deal. Every car manufacturer will need to switch to an electric vehicle. Many of them are kind of delaying the move to hybrids now, but I think it's it's on the so the writing's on the wall, right? You need to move to electric vehicles within 5 or 10 years. You see that this year, 2025, China, for the first time ever, new electric vehicles, which includes hybrids and battery electric vehicles, have surpassed new sales. Over 50% of all cars sold now in China is a new electric vehicle, no longer ICE cars. Incentives and disincentives, it's a done deal there. You got countries like Norway, like 94% of all cars sold are now electric vehicles. It's a matter of time for all cars to be sold. So I don't think you need to do anything any more different now. And then whether or not, we want smaller vehicles versus larger vehicles. Hey, look, the whole point is oil and gas is so damaging to the environment. If you can just switch them to electric, and I think that that's where we're headed. The last thing I'm worried about is, oh, that's a big SUV that's electric versus a small car that's electric. And by the way, you know this as well as we do, the next big step is autonomy. That's going to be the biggest push. And Tesla semis, right? These robo trucking, that's a big push. So I don't know, when I think about it, do you care that you have a small SUV versus, that's like fourth on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would like an electric vehicle that's a little more comfortable with the third row, but I'm not willing to pay what it costs to get one because they're quite expensive. So it's all about compromises for now. Um, I did have a viewer say, "Hey, autonomy in electric trucking, why is no one talking about that?"
Yeah.
And all I can say is, have you not been to my channel before? I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And I will say that for efficiency, what really kills you is speed. The wind resistance increases exponentially the faster you go. So, what I would prefer is if I'm going to ship something cross country, I would rather send it in an electric truck going 50 miles an hour than a gas powered truck going any speed with a human driver, because that human driver will have to stop half the time. So even if he's going 100 miles an hour,
Mm.
the slow electric truck will get there first
Yeah.
because it only needs to
But
stop to charge.
the reason why we haven't been talking about electric trucks and semis is because Tesla, 2 years ago, you did just every show we were doing was showing us what's going to happen with Tesla Semi. Then, unfortunately, Tesla themselves delayed their rollout, and so that's why we stopped talking about it. There's no car, and there's no company out there that's mass producing these electric vehicles, these electric, semis. And now this year, that is happening. This is the year that Tesla is going to start mass producing this. And so this is the year for us to bring it back and start talking about how robo trucking is going to just change the environment, but also the economy and the performance and efficiency for every state that allows this to happen.
And I would add that we will probably never talk about semis as much as cars because the audience for semis is smaller. People don't really think about trucking as much as they think about driving, which impacts all of us every day directly, where trucking impacts all of us every day indirectly. It's a completely different thing. Hey guys, in case you didn't know, April 1st is coming up, and I'm going to have a whole humdinger of a batch of shows because it is my favorite day as a self-proclaimed funny man. I will be being funny on April 1st. Who knows? Herbert might even show up. We might get brighter with him. That's almost a prophetic statement. We shall find out how bright we get. Guys, what did we miss? What do we misunderstand? I don't know. I just work here. Leave it in the comments below. The videos where we try and make you a little smarter, and the comments is where you can make us smarter, and brighter is where you get with Herbert. So head over there, see what he's up to. Everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots, perhaps this weekend in Chattanooga.